Welcome everyone to another episode of Dingo's Cooking Adventures. I'm making sausage parcels today. As you might be able to see, I have chicken chow mein sitting on the stove in the back there. That just came off the back of another video I just released. So if you want to check that out, it's a bit chaotic and I hope you enjoy. However, this one is pretty simple pastry job. It's not gluten free, however. So if you're a gluten free requirement, this isn't the recipe for you, unfortunately. So I'll be seeing you at the end.
We're going to start sausage parcels. We'll just pretend the cabbage is all in there. We'll put that over here, ready to go once that one's done. Now the sausage parcels, we need sausages. Very simple. Just your packet sausages, unless you want to make your own and get all fancy with it. But I'm not doing that. I'm doing the easy peasy, just get it done easy. And I haven't made these in a while, not because it's difficult or anything like that, just because, you know, motivation and things. Just double checking that's going alright, yeah. It'll get there. Alright, so we need pastry, celery, onion, and mixed veg. Right. Now, where's my knife? There it is, gotta give it a rinse. Now, this meal here, the sausage parcels, I'm not making this gluten-free. This is not a gluten-free meal. However, they do make gluten-free pastry. I've tried using gluten-free pastry in the past and it is shit to work with. And so that's why I won't make this a gluten-free version. But generally, anything I do make, I try and make it that it is a gluten-free meal. Whereas it could be gluten-free pasta or whatnot. I don't like gluten-free pasta either. It just, I don't know, it's just the taste I don't like. But, yeah. That's still going alright. It's going to cook down. So, with the celery, I'm chopping it up, but we're not going to use it as diced pieces. We're going to actually put it in a blender. We want this into a puree. So actually I might get a little mixy bowl for that. Chop up the onion. Clean it up as usual. Alright. Cleaning up as we go because it's always good. Now I've got some crappy looking cores in this onion, so I'm going to get them out. Doesn't have to be perfect. As I said, I'm blitzing all of this up. And then we get the mixed veggies that we had before. So, this is all going inside a blender. Alright. We're going to fine tooth the entire crap out of it. Alright. we need... We got it, never mind, we're good. So we need this in here. Now he's with me so far. Right now we're just making ingredients. But these ingredients are actually like a sauce that we're making. And then we do like a mixed veg combination in there as well. Alright. We're just about flat. Yay! Alright, so we're going to do a sauce with this. We need a little bit of liquid. Just to make sure that it does create a paste. You can use any sort of liquid you like. You can probably add a bit of butter in there if you wanted to. Please tell me that you're about to blend the hell out of that and make noodles for the chow mein out of it. No. No, this is for my sausage parcels. So I've added a little bit of water in there. I'm probably going to need a bit more. But you can, like I said, you can use like stock. You can use, I don't know, tomato sauce if you wanted to. But I generally leave the tomato sauce and the barbecue sauce or ketchup, whatever you want to call it, to later. Because this is like a vegetable sauce that you can have just plain vegetable sauce, or you can add more ingredient to it. Then grab these. We get some spring onion in there. I am going to put some spring onion in that once this gets down. Once that gets down a little bit, I need to put some spring onion in that as well. So I need to put spring onion in that. Yeah. But not in this particular case, no. Now because this is so fine, it's probably better for you to chop it pretty close. Do like fine dicing yourself because it may not blend very well. Depends on your blender, of course. Alright, and that is all I'm going to use for my spring onion. Right, we're still chopping that down. We're still getting it in there. Right, we get our spring onion in there. Alright. We get that all in there. And now, I add a bit more water, as I said. Might have added just a bit too much now, but we can work with that. Right? We can work with that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the blender. Might get a little bit loud. So I apologise if loud noises bother you. When I come back into frame, you can unblock your ears. So, now that we're done with that, we got my sauce, right? All those ingredients. It smells very fresh, very nice. Alright, how's my... oh, I cannot wait to actually buy a full-size pot. Right? Because I'm not doing that again. We're going to do the sausage parcels segment of it now. So we did have the ingredients changed out. I'm hoping this has been defrosting for long enough now. It's been at least... well, how long have I been streaming for? It's been that long since it's been out of the freezer. So I'm hoping that it hasn't gotten too soft on me, but soft enough that we can work with it. So I'm using puff pastry, you know, like the puff of smoke, puff pastry. Yes, it's malleable, I can separate it good. So basically what's happening is we're going to make a bed of the Magic Dragon, puff Magic Dragon, exactly. So that's going wonderful, by the way. That is going great. That's going exactly how I expected it should have been the first time with this whole cabbage in. I'm still going to put this piece of cabbage in, which means it's going to be cooked in 2 different elements. Taking dogs out and getting to bed. I'll be back in about 40 minutes, maybe. No worries then. Thank you. Right, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a spoon. Right. Oh, actually, you know what I might do? I'm going to put some snags on first. Might be a better choice for me. Alright. Making sure you don't cross-contaminate your dishes. Once again, I'm not going to do any sauce or oils or anything because I don't want to affect the sauce I just made. And by the way, that was the correct amount of liquid. That was pretty good. You need to judge it by eye, depending on how many more ingredients you want to add to it, is depending on how much liquid you use. But yeah, we only want to sort of semi-cook these. They're still going to cook, but they're going to be cooking in the oven. And speaking of which, turn on your oven. Now, I do set my oven to an extremely high temperature. It never stays there or never actually reaches it. It's just in order to get it to stay on. While I'm waiting though, we're going to get our baking tray. We're going to need a baking tray because I'm going to put these somewhere. I'm going to grab some paper towel as well. I want to take a bit of that fat, the oil off the sausages. So, I'm going to have to borrow a plate. It is clean, and it's one that I prepared earlier. So we're going to put the sausages on the plate. Once they're done, just take a bit of that oil off them. Any oil that might have came out of the sausage bag. Right, but so far they're coming along nicely.
I do all my gaming and cooking streams live on Twitch, so check down in the description, there'll be a link to it, and you can come and join me live on one of these sessions.
While these are actually on, I'm actually waiting for the other ones to cool down because I don't want to work with hot sausages. So I'm taking a little bit of that fat off them, if there is any, and also let them cool down a little bit because otherwise I'm going to be working with cooked pastry. If you can go a little closer, I'd go to him. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, why not? Maybe next time. Who knows? Right, so while that's happening, we're going to put down a bit of this sauce, vegetable sauce. Now, your vegetable sauce could be any ingredient you want. It really doesn't matter. And now with the sausages, we're going to put them together like that. Alright? And then just making sure that the sauce isn't going to spill. Now this is where you can get creative. I'm just going to do real basic. I mean, I don't know how real basic it is, but you know, pick your sauces. You get your grated cheese. You don't want a lot of it because it adds oil, but you just want a little bit. I mean, you do whatever you want, but I'm just going to add just a smidgen. And then we'll make this one a tomato sauce. Right. And you fold it over, pinch it out. Right. And as long as it's malleable, you won't break any of the pastry, which is we don't want. We don't want the pastry to break, otherwise it's going to create leaks. Just keep folding it in. Right. And then, if you were clever, you would have prepared a bit of an egg wash, which I haven't done yet. Right. A little bit of splash of milk. Give that a bit of a stir. Alright, got an egg wash. And I'm pretty sure I've got a basting brush in here somewhere. Which I do. Right, with a basting brush, or any sort of brush you can do. Right, we're just going to give it a bit of paint. Right, paint it all so we can get like a crispy golden colour to it. Plus it stops it from drying out until it's cooked. And we need to verify these snags. Baking paper. And if you're clever, and you have issues with your baking paper, add a bit of your egg wash. And it keeps it from sliding around on you. Right, but there we go. Butter and oil does the same thing, yes, but that means also melting butter, that also means grabbing oil. I've already got an egg wash, and you can use the egg wash. Right, and then, oh, you have one sausage parcel. It's very simple, very easy. You could do it with even like your leftovers. You got pastry in the freezer that you haven't touched in years. Leftovers. Right. Just going to take those, put those there. I'm going to turn off the heat for now. I don't need it at this stage. And we can go back to making another one. We get another piece of pastry. Everything is still going mint. They haven't over defrosted. Yeah, full size. So one is actually quite filling. And it's only just because of the pastry, right? The pastry gets filling after a while. But I've also also got a vegetable in there. I've got a sauce in there, a bit of cheese in there. It's almost like having a hot dog. Once again, we get our sauce. And this was what my nan taught me to make. I have adapted it and made a few slight changes to it, you know, the ingredients I use and whatnot, but it always... You see that? Oh, maybe you can't see that. Maybe it's... Right, so then we have a bit of grated cheese. I'm going to do a barbecue sauce one this time. And then a bit of barbecue sauce over that one. Right. And then once again we just roll it over. Making sure that you got enough pastry to line itself onto each other. Right. You give it a press in. Grab your corner. Now the pastry of this one, for some reason, is still frozen. So this one's had a break, but it's okay. It's a good example of where you're going to lose a bit of liquid. So just in the corners here, and probably while it's cooking, it's going to end up busting open and making an absolute mess. So yeah, for some reason it's just not defrosting evenly. But it is what it is. You can't always guarantee a perfect fold, a perfect pastry, whatever. And that's why I don't follow recipes. Because there's no guarantee it's going to come out like that, even though they say, oh, follow this guide to the exact T, it'll be fine. No. No, it won't. So, we fold it in like so. Give it a paint. And absolutely pray that the guts doesn't come out of it during cooking. Otherwise you're going to have a mess. But that's what the baking paper's for, isn't it? Who knows, you might even respect the fact that I don't do a recipe book. Who knows?
These next few are all going to be time-lapsed, just to speed up the process out, because it does take a little bit of time to do it, but you didn't miss too much. It's the same thing. And if you do want to join in the conversation, join me live on Twitch.
Right, just going to roll you down here for a second. And I'll show you briefly. So, we're just waiting for the pastry to puff up, but they're holding together, no mess. With this, all we're checking now is your thick stemmy cabbage, and if the fork can go through it, we're pretty much there. But we're going to break that down a bit more. We want that much more broken down. So that's going to take a bit, but it's okay. That's what happens when you're dealing with such a small space. So, thank you very much for coming along. I hope you enjoyed the process of making the sausage parcels. As I said, maybe it's already known, maybe it's worldwide, I don't know. But I like it, simple, takes a lot of work to get done, but it also something that you can cook put in like a container and take away with you and just eat like a sausage roll. Yeah, ends up just it's like convenience later, but inconvenience now. Very filling as well because it's two sausages. It's pastry. It's your veggies. But anyway, enough rambling on. If you like what you're seeing, hit the subscribe button. You'll be notified when I upload my next video. So I'm not sure which one's going to drop first, either the chow mein or the sausage parcels, but keep an eye out for that. If you want to watch any of this live, you can on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/thedraconian88. There will be a link in the description if you would like to copy paste and jump across, do that. Otherwise, it might be a hyperlink too. I'm not sure how that works. I haven't followed up on that yet. Anyhow, yeah, it's been fun. There's been some chaos, especially with my chow mein, but it was a good amount of fun. So, yeah, keep an eye out on the videos. Join us live next time. You can join in the chat and we'll have a chat and you can tell me all about how bad I'm good, how bad it is. But yeah, thank you very much. Annotations. I've got videos here and here and here and somewhere else. Hit the subscribe and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye.